Honorable Renee Genty Maneric, the Honorable Gerald Morarity, the Honorable Diane L. Fitzpatrick, Honorable Philip J. Patty, and Honorable Richard E. Seiss, presiding judge.
Good morning. Please be seated. Those of you who can take a seat, please be seated. Welcome. This is a rather momentous occasion. It's not every day that we name a courtroom after one of our judges. Actually, as I think you know, there's never been a day that we've named a courtroom in the 115-year history of our great court after one of our judges. So we're all very pleased that you could be here to witness this very historic event. I will say at this point that a couple of our judges who wanted to be here could not be here. The presiding justice of the 4th Department, Hank Scudder, as well as the administrative judge for the 7th Judicial District, Craig Doran, could not be here today. And they asked me to express their regards to the family and how pleased they are that Don Corbett is being remembered in this fashion. Another judge who couldn't be here, but was kind enough to send along a memorial, was Judge Richard Wesley, the Circuit Court of Appeals judge for the 2nd Circuit. And at this time, I ask our judge here, Philip Patty, if he'd step forward and read those remarks for you.
I have the privilege and honor of reading these reflections of Judge Richard Wesley, a dear friend of the Honorable Donald J. Corbett, Jr. I am honored that presiding Judge Seiss would ask me to offer a few thoughts and memories about my dear friend Don Corbett. I first met Don when he was a family court judge. He came to the bench the year I graduated from law school. That's lucky, not me. He came after a few years at Harris Beach. I ventured back to Genesee Valley, a small town practice in Geneseo. As a result, I was regularly in Monroe County Family Court, in family courts in the surrounding counties, and therefore appeared repeatedly before Don. Don was a joy to have on your case. He was always prepared, had an encyclopedic command of the family law. He was creative in solving problems in family court, and believe me, there were lots of different cases. I always felt he took the level of practice in family court to a higher plane. In 1983, Don was appointed by Governor Cuomo to the Court of Claims, and I began my first term in the New York State Assembly. I didn't see much of Don for the next few years. Frankly, I missed having him in family court. In February of 1987, Don was made presiding judge of the Court of Claims, and I began my career on the bench of Monroe Supreme Court. I got to see Don again on a regular basis, but now we were colleagues, and what a colleague he was. He was very interested in making his court more friendly. He took the view that the judicial system had a responsibility to quickly and fairly move cases to a conclusion. It was really the same Don Corbett I first met in Monroe Family Court, engaged, insightful, and always willing to improve how justice was delivered. In the years that followed, what began as a professional acquaintance grew to a lovely friendship. Don loved to talk politics, and so did I. We enjoyed conjuring how political issues might play out. Don always up on the latest palace intrigue whether the 2nd floor of the Capitol building had a Democrat or Republican presiding there. Don liked good wine, always the best restaurant in town. Don was full. It was fun to be around him. But he was first and foremost a judge. Don served his court, his state, and all who came before him with professional competence and dignity. When I began my career on the trial bench, I resolved to conduct my court like Don had run a family court. Don knew that his conduct as a judge set the tone for all those who came before him. His leadership in the courtroom and of his court came from hard work, constant self-examination and total dedication to the rule of law. Each of us hopes that somehow we will leave something behind when we leave this earth that is of value to those who remain. There is no doubt that Don left his mark on the justice system in New York. Today you name a courtroom in his honor, and that is a good and righteous thing to do. But Don's mark is set deeper than the plaque in this courtroom. Don's mark is set in thousands of people who come to the Court of Claims seeking a fair airing of their grievance. His mark is the assurance that those claims will be heard by well-trained judges, assisted by highly efficient and conscientious clerk and staff. His is a living legacy of which he can, and I am sure is, most proud. Richard C. Wesley, United States Circuit Judge, 2nd Circuit Court of Appeals, August 8, 2012.
Patty. You know, I can't help but think how pleased Don would be. You know, he brought us into the 21st century with the computerization and whatnot, but to know that all of our districts throughout the state are able to be here by video, I know he'd be tickled about that. At this time, I ask Michael Kirshen to step forward. Michael was his court attorney for the entire time that Don was a member of our court. Michael?
Thank you.